everybody? Welcome back to the Gambia Business Podcast. I'm your host, sitting over here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I have my man all the way from Dallas, Texas, by the name of Kobe Lewis. What's up, Kobe?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good. No complaints. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. All right. Just to get started, man, I would like you to just give a little background about who you are, and what part of Gambia you're from, and some of the schools you've attended.
Okay. My name is Kobe Lewis. I am from, I guess I can claim kind of in South. I kind of stayed all over Banjul, Gambia, though. But yeah, I claim kind of in South for the purpose of this interview. And I went to Laos. I also went to Gambia High, and then I also went to St. Augustine. So I think in order is Laos, St. Augustine, then Gambia High.
But the first one sounded better, man. It sounded way better than So.
I know, because you're a Now alum, so I can understand that. But yeah, I love music now. That's where I got started. So
That's what's up, man. I went to music school all my life. I've never been to any other school. So.
Oh, you did not change?
No, I did not change. I started elementary all the way through grade 12, man. So.
Oh wow! Yeah, I had to go to Sense and get the taste of Sense, and then I had to go to Gambia High.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of got the best of all worlds, basically.
All right. Hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's
yes,
cool.
Sir.
Yeah, but you got this big name, man, Kobe. And what comes with Kobe? It comes with being competitive. Comes with not giving up. Comes with championships. I mean, how does that play up in your life? Are you ready to live up to this big name?
Yeah, man, that's the goal. Competition is just part of my nature as well. I love to compete in everything I do, from even just having conversations and debates with my friends to business to anything that I do. I'm very competitive by nature. Even when I used to try to play sports, I'm not like the best sports guy, but I tried. And even when I played, I would argue with my friends and like, hey man, we gotta win this game. So that's just a part of my nature. Being a competitor.
That's what's up. You're not a Lakers fan, are you?
I used to be a Lakers fan. Well, you know what? Let me say this. I used to be a Kobe and Shaq fan.
All right.
That made me support the Lakers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right. That sounds great. So, just to get into the conversation, man, we're going to be talking about business. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship,
right,
and all that good stuff, man. So, just to get started, man, I mean, we've talked before, and you talked about being in corporate America. You were having a job just like everybody else,
Right.
But what makes you decide to go on your own, having to sacrifice that fixed income, that security for your family,
right?
The benefits like the 401ks, the healthcare, and the retirement, the PTOs. What made you decide to leave that and go on your own?
Well, it's understanding that I have to have the love for what I do and follow my passion. And I guess the biggest part of it all was understanding that I don't want to continue building someone else's dream and leaving my own. You know what I mean? I had a dream, I had goals, I had things that I want to accomplish. And so it's like, yes, you can sit there and you can build someone else's dream and forget about yours because of that consistency in a paycheck, or you can follow out your own dream and live your own dream and set your own rules,
Wow. Oh.
Yeah,
I mean, that makes sense, and like with entrepreneurship, here we are talking to you, and you have this company called Bijou Bell. I mean,
yes,
like I've never heard such a sweet name like that, man. I mean, it is just cool, man. So can you give us a little bit of history about how this company came about?
Okay, well, first and foremost, Bijou Bell is my mother's name. I just named the business after my mom.
Wow, cool,
that's where the name came from.
Nice.
And as far as the concept go, basically was just trying to figure out everything that I could do that evolves or based on food. Because I know that's a basic necessity. People have to eat, but also people like to have fun. So it's like, okay, how do we combine the two? What can we do to combine the two? And we know that, when you go into a regular restaurant, it's like you just sit down and that's pretty much all it is. You sit down and eat. You see the same things all the time. So then that's where the concept was like, how about, I know you can have dinner on a train, But I've never heard of having dinner on the road, like on a bus. Like, can you have dinner on a coach? Like, can you do that? And so that's pretty much what triggered me to say, let's figure out a way where people can actually have dinner, but not stuck in a, in one particular location. We are actually able to drive around the city simultaneously while you dine. And so that's pretty much what gave me the drive to build it up and have it where it's at today.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like I've never seen anything like this before, and I've looked around,
Yeah.
like there's nobody else doing this.
Nah, it's the first one it's the first one on this scale in America. The whole country I'm the first person to do something on that scale. Now you've had people. Don't get me wrong. There's something called bus restaurant. A bus restaurant is when people take a school bus and convert it into just a simple concept like a food truck where they have benches on the inside, and then you can have food. But on the level that we're doing it, it's none like that. This is the first time ever in the whole country where you have an actual dining restaurant, a full-blown kitchen, the booths and everything, and you can actually sit in there and eat and ride around. We're the first person in the whole country to do it. I say we because I have a team of people that support me, that work with me, and I can't forget them. I can't take all the credit, you know what I mean? But ultimately, yeah, in the whole country, we're the first to do it. So it was actually even hard to get the license and all that stuff to put it together. It was really difficult because none of the authorities have ever seen anything like that before. So it was like pulling tooth to get it authorized. It was hard, but we got it done. So that's the key.
And I'm proud of you, man, for coming up with such
Thanks,
an
sir.
idea, man. I mean, it's revolutionary, man. I'm sure this is gonna be replicated in many cities. I mean,
That's the goal.
right.
I'm trying to make sure I can put in every major city that I can to make sure that the brand is known nationwide and then probably global. That's the plan. But we leave that in God's hands.
So, do you have a patent on this?
We did contact the lawyer to set that up, so it's a patent pending. Yes,
Okay.
so that way we can secure it. It's my idea. It's my concept. So it's close to heart. You know what I mean? So yeah, we definitely have a patent pending.
That's what's up, man. I mean, really proud of you, man. So, can you kind of walk me through like a day-to-day activity of Bijou Bell? Like, if I was to fly
Okay.
to Dallas right now, I mean,
Right.
like, how will it go if I want to get onto Bijou Bell?
Okay. So there's a couple of things that we do. Right. One, the major thing that we do is a lot of private parties, a lot of private charters. Like you have someone that wants to celebrate a birthday, they'll call and say, "Hey, I want to celebrate my dad's 60th anniversary. We want to charter the coach," right? So they'll charter the coach, and then we will provide them 3-course meals. We'll provide them 16 bottles of champagne, and we'll give them a tour of the city. So all that is combined into one package, right? That's one avenue. Another avenue is if we as a company decide to put up an event. So like Valentine's Day, we did an event where it was Bijou Bell Valentine's Day party, and that one is open to the public. Anybody can book a ticket. They can buy a ticket, and they can come. And we have a contract with a hotel in Irving where everybody will meet up, and then we'll go on the tour. But that one is open to the general public, so it's not really secluded to just one person that charters the coach. Yeah, another thing that we do corporate events. We just did a Hilton corporate event the other day, and they chartered us for a team building event for their staff. We did that for them, and then also we're actually trying to branch into the lunch sector right now as we speak. We're working with a bunch of dealerships. We're working with a bunch of office buildings where we can bring the bus out and their staff can come down for lunch instead of leaving the premises and driving. And you know how some places hard for you to get parking. You don't have enough time for lunch to go around and come back. So now we bring the restaurant to you. So we'll bring the restaurant to the parking lot structure and they can have lunch right on there. That's what we are actually working on as we speak right now.
Oh, most definitely, man. And talking about the whole parking thing, man. I mean, I used to be in the Dallas area, man. I'm telling you, parking over there, man, is a mess. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely. So, if I was to ask you, like, what was your first entrepreneurial victory that made you think that you found your niche in this, and then you can actually make it?
I mean, the hardest thing about this is the fact that I mean, I just had such a strong belief in the fact that no one has ever done anything like this. So be it successful or not, it was just the pride in knowing that you're the first one to start something in a
Yeah.
whole country. I mean, imagine living in a country like America where you have lots of brains and lots of geniuses and lots of people that are investors and a lot of entrepreneurs, and no one has thought about this. And you're the first person to do it, coming from a whole nother country, a whole nother continent. So it was like it meant a lot to me because I could have easily started a food show, I could have started an actual restaurant and anything, but I wanted to do something that has never been done before. So that was a driving factor. And then besides, it's always good to be able to make your family proud of you. Those are all the things that kind of motivate me and push me to say, you know what, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, most definitely. Knowing you, I know that you are a serial entrepreneur. You always get your hands into different things. Would you say that this has been your biggest project? Since you started your entrepreneurial journey.
Yes, I definitely have to say that. Most definitely, it's been the biggest thing that I have done. I've done a couple of things, but from that standpoint, this has definitely been the biggest thing that I've done.
Because folks would be wondering, like how do you come up with these ideas, of what to do and what not to do? Like how would you explain the fact that, I mean, you take an idea and make it something viable, like kind of turn it to a business. How does that
Um,
process go?
this is what I would say. A friend of mine once told me, if you're gonna do something that you love doing, and then try to find a way to turn it into money.
That's right.
Because if you're just chasing the money, in most cases, if it's not getting successful as fast as you want it, then you're going to quit, or you're going to be, upset. And business is not easy.
Right.
It doesn't. It takes a lot of sacrifice and a lot of hard work and a lot of determination.
Yeah.
But my advice that I always give is find something that you're passionate about. So even when the going gets hard, because you love doing it, you're not going to feel the pain. You know what I mean? You gotta find something that you love doing, for one, and then secondly, don't be afraid. A lot of people are afraid to take risks because they're not sure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like my philosophy is every day you live is a risk.
Yeah.
You don't know that you're guaranteed to come back home when you leave your house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the people that have a job that they believe that this is more secure than starting your own business, is like the same job you can get let go at any minute. There's no guarantee. I mean,
Right.
you can start working today, tomorrow they can lay you off, they can fire you. So there's nothing that guarantees you anything. So why not take risk on your passion? Like, just, you have one life to live. Make it worth it.
Yeah, I mean, but you're like, oh, people, we always like to play it safe. We will go and sit by the pool and dip our legs in the water, but we will never get in,
Yeah, yeah.
So what will you tell to
Yep.
those folks, man, who are like sitting on the fence, and like they're not sure whether they should get in or not?
I mean, don't procrastinate. Don't hesitate because you got nothing to lose. At the end of the day, it's you have to give it a try. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, what's the point of not taking the risk? I mean, I'll say this: if you are an entrepreneur, go for it. If you're not an entrepreneur, follow something else that works for you. Some people, they're just built to do the 9 to 5. Not everybody is built for being a businessman. Some people is like, really, they enjoy the 9 to 5. That's what they're built for.
Right.
So for those people, yeah, continue doing your 9 to 5 because that's what you're built for. But the people that you are more into being an entrepreneur, then this is what you have to do. I'm not going to say this is what you have to do, but this is what you could possibly try to do. Is that if people say you have big dreams. If you have a dream, my opinion is, when you have a dream, in order for you to try to turn it into reality, and look at it every day
Right.
and say, hey, I need to bring this to reality. That will help. But if you just have it in your head all the time, it's harder for you to view it and put it into practice and start building it, because it's just a dream. But make it a goal, not a dream.
Yeah.
Make it a goal. Now, look, I have to accomplish this by this time, and then you start working on it. Then it will be a lot easier. But it's just eliminating the fear factor. Don't be afraid to build.
So in essence, you got to be hungry.
I mean, yeah, you definitely gotta be hungry, but you just, the thing is, don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. That's the key. Don't be afraid to fail, because you're not failing. You're just learning from each situation.
Right.
So don't be afraid, because I've started several different businesses, and I'm not saying by far that I'm successful. I'm still a work in progress. But the thing about it is, You start something, it doesn't work. You sit back and you look why it didn't work. Where did you go wrong? You try to evaluate yourself. And but don't just because you start one, it didn't work, don't mean that you just gotta shut it down and say it's it, I'm done. You know what I mean? You gotta try to figure out why it didn't work and what can you do differently and how you can improve. So when you take on another project, you took what you've learned from that project and you put it into this project and you try to get it better. So it takes time, but the key is persistence, discipline, and just hard work.
Yeah, that's right, man. It's just like the saying goes, good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment.
Yes, sir. A lot of it too.
Yeah, so yeah, but like with entrepreneurship, I mean, it's not just about the idea. Like you can have the idea. Let's say somebody is good at cooking, and everybody keeps telling them that, oh, you are really good at cooking. You should start a business.
Right.
And that individual is only good at cooking only. So now you get this individual to start a business, not knowing that as soon as they start this business, they're not just the cooks anymore, but they have to be their own accountant. They have to be their own sales and marketing guy. They have to be their own HR person.
Yeah.
So like
that's the difficult part about it. And I was reading this book. It's called Why Small Businesses Fail. And actually, what you brought up is like really one of the main subjects in that book. Is that a lot of people they forget that having a passion to do something like like you said, let's say you like to cook. Just because you like to cook or just because you know how to cook does not mean that it's a business. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And a lot of people, that's the mistake they make. I just want to open a restaurant because I know how to cook.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't open a restaurant because you know how to cook, but I'm saying understand that it's the business and it's different from just cooking.
Yeah.
There's different parts of what makes the business work. So having to understand that, okay, I do have the passion to cook, but then there's another side to it. You have to have an understanding of how business works and how business is ran to be able to be successful in what you're doing. So it's a two-part to it, having the passion to do the cooking and knowing how to turn it into a business. That's a different story. But the thing about it is if you don't have all what it takes, then it's really good to build a team around you because no man is an island. Everybody needs help some way, somehow. So you just have to have people around you that have your best interest at heart and understand. So if you're not an accountant, then, find an accountant that you're friends with and see if they can help you in the meantime. Or you might have a family member that want to help you that has this part of it. Or, if you need somebody that's going to run this errand for you, or if you need somebody that's going to, do the repairs on the gas stove when it goes out, like you're going to need a team. You can't do it by yourself. But in the beginning stages, that's why you need a lot of money for cash flow, or you need people that can help you until you stand on your 2 feet, But yeah, it takes more to doing the business than just knowing how to do one part of it. That's definitely true.
Now, with the kind of business that you do, I mean, it's all about customer service.
Absolutely.
Your customer service skills have to be, up to par. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I mean,
especially in America.
Yeah, exactly. And one other thing also with this whole customer service thing too, you got to be consistent also.
Right.
There has to be this consistency, in your business because I wouldn't want to come and have a very delightful experience, one time. It makes me want to come back. And then all of a sudden I have a totally different experience.
No, that's true.
Like, how does that work in your business?
It is key. I mean, it is very, very, very key because if anything, other than even returning customers, also those same customers are the ones that are actually able to make or break your business. Because you got to keep in mind, we live in a country or a society where if one person comes and has a good time, they don't tell that many people, oh, I had a good time when I went over there.
Yeah.
But if one person comes and have a bad time, believe me, social media is like, you know what I'm saying? It gives the voice, less people a voice. The people that don't need to have a voice, sometimes they have a voice through social media because they're going to blast things that sometimes may not even be legit. But think about it this way. If one person walks into your restaurant, has a bad experience, if that person posted on social media right now, you know how many tons of people are going to see that?
Right.
And that can destroy your business that you work so hard for.
That's right.
So ultimately, it is very key. You're not going to win everything. You're going to have some battles that you just cannot win. You know what I mean? Some people you just cannot please, especially in the food industry. You're not going to win it all. However, though, you have to maintain that level that you bring out all the time, and make sure that all your the key about is make sure that all your teammates are on the same level and understand. So when you're hiring your staff or when you're getting people that's going to help you, they all have to understand what the goal is at hand. Like, look, we need to understand how important customer service is. We need to understand that if we do this the right way, it can bring return business, it can bring referrals, especially when you're doing word of mouth type of business. Like most of the business that we've gotten so far for this, it's been referrals because they come on board and they enjoy the experience. They're wowed by the fact that they've never seen something like this before. And then on top of that, the service that they get from the staff, it just makes them feel at home. It makes them feel, appreciated. So once you get that and understand the foundation of how that works, and you just have to keep it, it's just like a recipe. Once you know that you need 1 spoon of sugar for this, 2 spoons of sugar for that, now you know that you have to maintain that recipe in order for you to continue giving the same caliber type of service. So it's hard work, but it takes a staff that understands how important it is for you to be able to maintain it.
Yeah, most definitely. There's this word that always flows around, with business, that the customer is always right.
Yes.
I don't believe that the customer is always right. I know these businesses, they don't want to lose their customers, but there are a lot of knuckleheads out there, man. They will come and, they will make some, really, really, really dumb things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah. And that's why I say you're going to have to choose your battles. You know what I mean? You're not going to win them all. You know what I mean? But basically, as a business, from the standpoint of a business, I can understand why you would say the customer is always right. Because again, like I said, you don't want that one person going to spread rumors and got 50 million people destroying your brand. But I also understand from a consumer standpoint is that, sometimes you just feel like, customers are not always right. But the world in which we live today, man, if you want to stay in business, that's the model you have to abide by.
Exactly, man. I don't know how you guys do it. That's why I'm not a businessman, man, because I don't have the patience. So
it's you need that. Right?
I know
that patience. You need that.
I know. But like one thing that I'm really impressed with you and your business is that it's something that we don't see very often in our Gambian communities. Because like most of us, we are so patriotic and we become so emotional. Whenever we have something, we just want to run home and start a business over there because that's home, and it is nice. But you decided that you were going to do your business here in the States. And it makes sense, because, I mean, in reality, Gambia is a very small market. Really, 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 really small. Like, you cannot scale like you can over here, Just look at you where you are. You are in the Dallas Metroplex, which is about 7.2 million people.
Absolutely,
There's no way that can compete with folks who live in Serekunda, Banjul.
Right.
So I think it is really important that you decided to put your concepts, to work over here. Like, what will you say about that? Of folks trying to start businesses over here, instead of going back home to do it.
I mean, I think that ultimately it is all depending on the type of business that you're trying to start and understanding your market, understanding how the business you're trying to start will flourish in whatever market it is you're trying to establish that business in. Because there are certain businesses that will flourish, in Gambia faster or more probably than it would do over here and vice versa. So I think it's key to figure out what kind of business you're trying to do and who your market is. I mean, I have some business ideas that I want to go do in Gambia eventually, but it's just key is understanding your market, really, and understanding what you're trying to accomplish. Once you understand that, then it can help you determine, do I do this here? Do I do this there? I mean, I've not been to Gambia in a while, so I don't know what the food industry is like over there, but when I was growing up, for the most part, everybody cooks at home. We do have restaurants, yes, but the largest scale of the people, they eat at home. So that might have changed now. Like I said, I've not been there in a while, but so in my opinion, when I was trying to start this, it's a lot of factors that I was taking into consideration. Again, like you said, the scaling of it, the amount of people that are here, the amount of revenue that are here, and then again, if I'm going to make if I plan to go home tomorrow, for example, and I have an income coming in dollars that's consistently coming to me, when I leave back home, I can leave pretty nice if I'm getting dollars coming over to Gambia that I can convert to dollars and live a nice way. You know what I mean? So my thing is, when I do decide to go home, it's a matter of retiring, going home to enjoy being home, not to try to come and establish something at that point. But everybody has their own personal preferences. You know what I mean, as far as where, when. But my opinion is, I would build this here, but I have a specific type of business that I do want to go to in Gambia eventually, pretty soon. But it depends on what kind of business you want to do, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, one thing about the show is one thing that I try to promote is wealth building in our Gambian communities. I think it's very, very, very important that we, getting into that mind frame of, trying to build wealth for
Absolutely.
ourselves, for our kids and our families.
Absolutely.
And, that eventually is going to benefit Gambia as a whole as well.
Absolutely.
What would you say about that?
No, that's like really, really important, because I think that from a personal standpoint, I've had a lot of support from my family, which it helps me realize more and more that we don't need to just stop at the present, at us. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of the problems that we face as a society is that we are only worried about today. We're only worried about this family being taken care of. We're not trying to build generational things for the future generation to come. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, don't just say that your car is paid, your house is paid, and then that's it. You know what I mean? I think that you want to think down the line and creating something that you can pass down to your kids, and your kids can probably walk on and pass it down to the next generation. And I think that is really ideal, not just even in Gambia, but just as a whole. Because if you take a look at it, I always say to my friend, a lot of times we as Black folks, we complain a lot about what other races are doing to us, but then what are we doing to take over our own race and be able to build something that we don't have to worry about being employed? Because you're going to complain, oh, the white man doesn't want to give me the job because of the color of my skin. Okay, build something that you can employ your own people. You know what I mean? Don't sit there and complain about what's happening. Try to fix it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, being able to be in a position where you can actually get to a point where you're able to build and leave a legacy behind and leave a long amount of fortune behind for families unborn to be able to be dependent and stand on their 2 feet and be able to pass that along, I think that's key. I mean, I think that's really, really important. It's really important. It's time that we stop thinking about just the current generation and think about future ones and making sure that we establish things for them.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. I think they have a saying in the Bible that says a good man leaves inheritance for his kids' kids.
There you go.
So I totally believe in that.
There you go.
Yeah, just like you were saying, with all these, excuses, and all these limitations. I believe that, all our limitations are self-imposed. We impose all these limitations, especially some of us who are here. They will be like, I don't have good customer skills. I cannot speak good in public. I have an accent, and like so many of these things, they use it, to limit themselves.
Yeah. I mean, this is what you say to that. This is my response. It's like this. I mean, I said to one of my friends, I said, you were not born an engineer. You went to school, you learned it, you became an engineer.
Yes.
So if it's something that you really want to do, you're gonna learn and find a way to learn it. When they say where there's a will, there's a way, right?
That's right.
If you really want to do it, you're gonna learn it. You know what I mean? That's point blank period. If you're not interested in something, then you're not interested in something.
That's right.
But unless if you have the interest, you're gonna find a way to learn it. I mean, if you don't have the interest, then that's understood. So I think it all comes down to personal interest and how much you want. I was sitting with a friend that was watching the History Channel. You know what I mean? And he was so into it. And he's into it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking like, yeah, I don't really care about this stuff. He's watching about the history of the animals and where they started. So I just got up and I walked away because I didn't have no interest in it. I didn't want to, pursue learning anything about that because that was not my personal interest. So it's the same thing when it comes to business or when it comes to different adventures that you want to go into. It's a matter of if it's your interest, you take the time. If it's not your interest, then you're not gonna sit and try to learn it at all.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we don't really have too much time over here. I just have, just few more questions. Now, one thing that has always been in my mind about business people, I mean, how do they separate these two things? Like, how do you keep your business account separate from your personal account? Because, like, you are seeing money in both of them. I used like kind of sometimes tempted to, touch money that you're not supposed to touch, like the business account, and to use it for your personal stuff? Like how does that go, man?
Yeah. Um, in everything is discipline. You know what I mean? There's discipline in everything that you do. It's not. It's actually hard, especially if the personal account doesn't have a lot of money and you have personal bills to take care of and the business is making money. So you don't want to cross because you will not even be able to see your profit if you're trying to cross everything and do both at the same time. It's going to be hard. So it takes a lot of discipline to understand that because number one, the business needs to grow. If you're trying to scale your business, that is. So the money that the business is making, you need to stay with the business to bring more business. If you're trying to take that money and feed your personal, then you're gonna have problems because now you're not gonna have enough money to grow your business. Every business, for the most part, I say for the most part because it depends on the kind of business you go into, but a lot of businesses you need cash flow.
Yes.
If you're dipping into your cash flow, you're hurting yourself. You know what I mean? So when you experience it and then you learn how not to do it again. I mean, that's the most I can tell you. Because I've done that. You got some times where you're like, man, brain is due. You know what I mean? And maybe you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a check coming, but you got to pay the rent. So you're like, I need to borrow this. But you have to learn the discipline and understand if you borrow, you return. And, if you keep your accounting separate, you keep your book separate, then it will fall in place. But key is discipline. That's the bottom line. Like, discipline is very important in everything that you do.
Yeah, I'm sure it is tempting, man. Now, if I was to ask you now, like, how has your life changed since you took up this entrepreneurial route?
Oh, hey man. It has its good days and its bad days. You know what I mean? Anybody that starts a business will tell you that some days you just feel like throwing in the towel. You feel like giving up. You feel like I'm crazy to be doing this. You feel like, you know what I mean? Especially a startup business, a brand new business. I mean, it's not easy, man. It's not easy by no means. Like it's tough. You have moments where you just like, why am I doing this? You're not making money as much as you would like to, or business is slow. You have days that are really frustrating. So it's like you ask yourself, why am I doing this? But so far, I would say the thing about it for me is that when you have a lot of people that are cheering for you, that want you to succeed, it is really important to me because those are the people that matter. You know what I mean? You will hear a lot of people say the opposite. Oh, I got so many haters, I gotta prove them wrong. I don't really care about the haters. I care about the people that are hoping you succeed. You don't want to disappoint those people.
Yep.
Because they have belief in you. They have faith in you. They're supporting you. So it's if you fold the towel and say I give up, it's like you're letting those people down. So more than anything, that's the motivational factor for me. So when I sit back and I look throughout the whole journey, it's been ups and downs. I've had good days, I've had bad days. I have days where I felt like I need to give up. I have days where I'm like, well, the look on your mom's face when she's talking proudly about her son accomplishing certain things, it feels good. You know what I mean? So as a whole, it's just, it's been a good ride, but it's been a roller coaster. You have days that are good, you have days that are bad, but you just have to keep your eyes on the prize and understand what your end goal is, what your end game is, and what you're trying to accomplish. And understand that with business, success is not really a destination. It's actually the entire journey. That's the entire journey. That's in my definition. I'm not going to define it as, the final destination. I mean, the final destination is good, but what makes you strong is going through the journey to get to that destination, man. It's if it was easy, everybody go open a business, man. But you got to stick with it. You got to stick with it.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I mean, just one final question here, man. What is your word of encouragement for a young guy out there, who's listening to you, listening to your story and becomes inspired, by everything that you're saying and wants to take that next step? What's your message to that individual, who has that idea but doesn't know how to turn it to business, Because sometimes, too, people will be like they will have an idea and they will sit on it, and all of a sudden, Mark Zuckerberg came up with the idea of Facebook. You're like, oh, I was thinking about that.
That happens all the time.
Exactly. So what's your message to that kind of individual?
Hey, I mean, the key is do not procrastinate. You know what I mean? Do not procrastinate. If you believe in it, like the thing about it is this: number one, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ideas. You have to believe it because nobody else will believe it if you don't believe it. You know what I mean? And if you don't believe it, you're not going to work on it. So first and foremost, believe in whatever it is you come up with that you want to do. Believe in it 100%.
Yep.
Second thing is, you know what I mean. Do a lot of research. Understand what you're trying to get into. Understand the process. Put your business process in place of how you're gonna accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Understand what your goal is. Why are you doing it? You know what I mean? And then, follow through. You know what I mean? But the biggest thing is don't be afraid to fail. Most people that have ideas are sitting on it is the what if part that pushes them more than the I will make it part. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, if you sit there and you're like, well, what if I fail? Then you're gonna fail.
Yep.
What if he doesn't make any money? He's not gonna make money if you don't make money. So why sit there and think about the negative? Like, well, what if you can assess your risk? I'm not telling you not to assess your risk. Assess your risk by all means. But don't let the fear of failure stop you from starting, because you will never know how it would end. If you lose, just learn from it.
That's right.
Move on. Keep going. You cannot just say, oh my God, I have this brilliant idea, but I'm afraid. And then it's good to communicate with people and learn from them. But I would say this: if you are going to sit there and listen to what other people tell you about a business that you want to start, you're the one that know the ins and outs of it. People are always going to tell you don't do something because they're afraid to do it. They're going to tell you not to do it. But if you're going to listen to that, then there's no point even going into it. When I came up with this concept, I talked to a couple of my friends. The first thing they told me was, "Oh, it's not going to work." One, two, or why don't you just do a food truck? Everybody. But I'm like, bro, everybody has a food truck. My vision is farther out than a food truck. I want to do something that's never been done before. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, don't do that. You're going to fail. So it's like, okay. But for me, it's like, well, it's not you that's losing any money. It's not you that's losing any sleep. It's not you that's, that's not taking the chance. I'm the one taking the chance. So I'm not going to let you stop my vision because you don't have one. You know what I mean? So ultimately, it comes back to believing in yourself. Believe in whatever it is you want to do. You have to believe in it 100%. And then you push for it. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. But don't be afraid. Go for it. Just go for it.
That's what's up, man. I mean, you are what you think about,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to.
If you don't, ain't nobody else going to believe in you. So.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't know what the end game is going to be. I mean, if Mark Zuckerberg did not start Facebook, if he was waiting, don't know how it would have been. I mean, maybe there was no Facebook, maybe somebody else would have started. But the thing about it is, you might have something that you're sitting on that you can probably save lives. You can probably change the entire world in one click of a finger. You don't know what you possess. So if you have an idea, shoot for the sky, man. Just go for it. Don't let nobody hold you back.
That's what's up, man. I mean,
don't.
So if anybody wants to get in contact with Bijou Bell, somebody coming to the DFW area, how will they get in contact with Bijou Bell? Got a website or Facebook page? Or?
Yeah. There's a website. It's www.bijou-bell.com. There's also an easier website that links to the same one. It's ridethebell.com, and that's BLE. We have a Facebook page, and we also have an Instagram page, and there's a phone number on the website, but we're actually doing away with that number. We're changing offices and stuff, so that number is gone. We're going to update the site with a new number. Honestly, I have not really had the time to focus on my social media like I should. I'm starting a whole new team, so the social media is not as active as it should be, but it's there to see us and contact us. But mostly emails is the most way to reach out to us, and sometimes some people do have my personal number. They reach out to me directly, but majority of the time, just an email from the website or Facebook, for the most part, is where most of the communication comes from.
That's all right, man. Before I let you go, man, I'm going to give you here some 2 rapid fire questions, man. They're going to be really quick. Okay. So what does being a Gambian mean to you?
Everything. Wow. I mean, that's where I was born. That's where I was raised. So it's like I got life from there. You know what I mean? So if anything, it's I have to represent where I'm from. And at the end of the day, I want to go back to my community as well. So see, the key is not to just do stuff here. You know what I mean? I wanted to have a base, a foundation that I can also go back home and be comfortable enough to start something. Because I have a plan that I'm working on right now, actually, with one of my friends in New York. A very good friend of mine. He just came back from Gambia like a couple of months ago, and he called me up and we were speaking. He's like, bro, we have an opportunity now to go to Gambia. And, for unmentioned reasons, I didn't go to Gambia to do business there for reasons I don't want to get into. But now I feel comfortable enough to be able to go back home and do some things. And I'm actually working on something right now as we speak that I want to go do. And it's to be able to provide employment for a lot of people as well. And be able to, contribute to the development of my hometown as well. So without any doubt, in the near future, I am really thinking about starting a major company in Banjul. That's the plan. Me and Abu are working on it right now, and hopefully, we'll be able to do so in the coming years pretty soon. We're planning on putting something down there pretty good.
Hey man, I'm really confident that if anybody's gonna make it happen, you can make it happen, man.
Man, we trying, man. We trying, man. Everything is up to God, man. But we really, we give God the glory, man. We're just trying as best as we can. It's not been easy. It's still not easy. Living in America is not easy. We all know how hard those are. But at the end of the day, we just have to find a way to make it work. But yeah, definitely Gambia is in the scope. When I went to Gambia, I was super impressed with a lot of people that I've seen that would let me believe that no matter where you are, you can be successful. It's up to you. And I've seen friends of mine, like I went to school with Rafi Diab, and Rafi Diab is doing major things in Gambia. I'm super, super, super proud of him. Malik Dubois, it's a bunch of people that I went to school with that, like, they run things over there now. And I'm like, man, so the opportunity is everywhere. It's just up to us to make it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I definitely see a vision where I could tap into the market in Gambia and be able to provide employment for people. That's the goal. So hopefully we'll be able to bring it to reality pretty soon. But yeah, we're definitely working on something, definitely.
Most definitely, man. My last question, man. Tell me the best advice you've ever gotten.
The best advice I've ever gotten. That's a good one. I read a lot of books. I think, my mom told me not be afraid of anything that I believe in.
That's right.
Don't be afraid. My mom told me, both my parents really, they support everything that I do. Even through the bad times, man, they support everything I do. And mom and my dad have always put that in me, like, don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid, to do what you believe in. Just do it. Because I remember, actually, when I was a little kid, I was at home one day, and my dad came and asked me to do. I think it was a project I was doing in science, and my dad came in. I think I was just like super frustrated, and my dad was like, "What's the problem?" I was like, "I can't." And that was the first time ever he told me, "Never use that word."
That's right.
Always say, "I'll try."
Yep.
But never say, "I can't." And I think that just stuck with me. And everything I do, I'll give it a try. Not everything is gonna be played out the way you anticipate it to play out, but at least, even if it doesn't work, you can say, you know what, I'm proud to say I gave it my best. So yeah, that's it right there. The key is, they told me always try, never say you can't.
That's right, man. Since you read a lot of books, man, I'm a big fan of books. Right now, I got 3 credits on my Audible that I'm trying to use, man. You're gonna have to give me, 1 or 2 books, man, so that I can listen to it.
Number 1 is it's Michael Gerber's.
Are you talking about the E-Myth?
It's called E-Myth. Yeah.
I just finished listening to that book, man. Great book.
I can tell because when you use that example of the cook.
Exactly. That's where I got that from.
I knew that. I read that book. So when you said that, I'm like, he must have read that.
Exactly.
That's a good book. I love that book. Also, Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is like a big favorite of mine. I read his
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich. I read that book. I read Master Key to Riches.
Yeah.
Those are really, really good books. And I reached that point that I read that book too because I was in real estate at one point. But reading is fundamental because this is the advice I always give you when it comes to reading. It's like, don't just read for the sake of reading. You know what I mean? Read something that is what you want to do. So if you're not trying to go into real estate, don't go kill yourself reading all these books that has nothing to do with what you want to do.
That's right.
Then you're going to be bored with the reading. But if you have something that you want to do, read that. And reading does not necessarily mean you have to go buy a book or read a book. I do a lot of research on Google and
Yep.
read articles. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like my favorite website is eHow. You go to
Yep.
eHow, you type in stuff and you get articles. So reading does not necessarily mean you have to go to the library and get a 40-page book and read.
Right.
No, I mean sometimes you can read a 2-minute article and it will give you insight on what you're trying to accomplish. So it's all about understanding what you're trying to accomplish and then in the research. So reading does not just mean go get a book. It means do any kind of research, any kind of material that will help towards what you're trying to do. So reading is really key.
Or you can just use your commute, and just kind of listen to, educational
Yeah,
materials,
absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I have a friend who don't listen to the radio in his car. He doesn't. He just listens to book.
Oh, yeah,
It's funny,
definitely, man.
audiobook.
Yeah.
So you gotta stimulate your mind some way or the other. So it's key that you find something. Some people read, some people listen, some people watch. But either way, this is one advice that I want to give before I get off. I know you gotta go. One key thing that I would say is this: at the end of every day, you have to understand whether or not you've managed your time very well.
That's what's
We
up.
all have 24 hours in a day. So
Yep.
this is my challenge to anybody who's listening. At the end of every day, when you get home, you do a simple basic mathematics. You take your 24 hours that you have and you count down and you see how much time you wasted. You'll be surprised when you do this. You're going to realize how much time you waste in a day. And then you say, oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. But I'm not even as good on it as I should be. I'm working on it. But do this. You get 24 hours. Let's just assume you slept for 8 hours. So you subtract the 8 from that 24. You have 16 hours left.
Yep.
And then you ask yourself, what did I do with my 16 hours? If you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a job, then account for your meetings, account for your drive time and everything. And then you subtract that from there. If you go to work, maybe you work for 8 hours, you subtract the 8 hours, you got another 8 hours left. So now you say, what did I do with my 8 hours? Okay, maybe I spend 1 hour with my kids. Okay, great. Then you say, what else did I do with my 7 hours? Okay, maybe I watch TV for an hour with my girlfriend, my fiance, whatever you did. Now you got 6 hours left. What did you do with those 6 hours? Where did it go?
Yep.
What did you benefit? How do you turn that into something productive and positive? So when you start accounting for every time that you lose, you're going to start realizing that, hey, man, I do not have time to waste. And when you have conversations with people, then you say, hey, look, I'm giving you an hour of my time because I know I have to account for it. So I cannot sit here and just, BS with you all day. Like, what are we doing? What's the time? What's my time going? Account for your time. Be accountable for your time. It's key in being successful. You have to be able to understand that time is important. I met this Indian guy. I went to him, and this is when I started one of my businesses. I went to him for help, right? And I said to him, hey, I want to come talk. He said, okay, come on down. I went down to his office, and when I got there, I'm trying to introduce myself. I'm trying to talk about what I do. He said to me, Obi, I don't care what your name is. I don't care what your business name is. I don't care what your business is about. What I care about is how I can help you. Come straight to the point. Don't come trying to tell me, oh, I have a business. Oh, I don't want to know that. I just want to know how I can help you. Tell me how I can help you so you can save my time. I can save yours.
That's right.
And bro, that kind of like opened my eyes. I'm like, at first I was like, this dude is one rude individual. But I was like, you know what? He values his time. So he's like, what you need? How can I get it? Okay, what do you need me to do? And that's it. So instead of, I'm not saying being humane, but I'm saying just value your time. It will help in a lot of ways because you realize how much time you waste at the end of the day. You will realize it. If you calculate your hours, what you did with it, you will realize how many you waste.
Most definitely, man. I mean, successful people, they think in terms of minutes and seconds. Unsuccessful people, they think in terms of hours and days and months. But
Exactly.
and that's the difference
Every
right there.
minute matters.
Yeah, that's the difference right there. But I was thinking, man, before I go, man, I was gonna get your take on the hardest thing that's out there right now, which is the cryptocurrencies, man, the bitcoins and all of those kind of things, man. What's your take on that?
I saw this Bitcoin phenomenon, and I'm like, why didn't I invest in this thing a lot earlier? Than
I know, right?
I mean, I was amazed by how the jump is significant. I mean, from $200 some to 17. I looked at it today, it was $17,000.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like, I mean, investing it's scary, but it's not for everybody. But if you're gonna get in it, make sure you know what you're doing. It's my advice. Make sure you know, get a professional. But that Bitcoin thing is just, I mean, I wish I could, I mean, man, it's $17,000, man. Like, if you would have bought that thing for $200, look at the come up. You know what I mean? It's significant. It's very, very significant. It's amazing. It is amazing.
I mean, it's just crazy, man. But
It is amazing, man. I just left the meeting earlier in this networking event I was in, and it's like all a bunch of financial advisors that were there, and that's what everybody is like. Dude, this investing thing is it's insane how the money flips. But unfortunately, I didn't jump on the train when I should have. But you live and you learn. That's the next one that might come up soon.
you never know, man. So
Yeah, definitely.
man, I'm not gonna take too much of your time, man. It's been a pleasure having you, man. I'm
Man,
sure
I
we will
appreciate
continue
it.
this discussion, some other day. I mean,
Most definitely, man. I appreciate you as much, man. I mean, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to be heard now. I mean, we look forward to having a Gambia where all of us are, on that same level, that same energy, that same drive, like all of us can make it. So anything that we can do to help, to motivate, I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for Gambia that we can all say we're doing something. So definitely, I appreciate being on there, man.
that's what's up, baby boy. So, I guess we're gonna wrap it up here, Kobe, man. It's been real nice having you, man. Say hello to everybody in the DFW area, man. That's my second home. Got most of my boys over
Man, come
there.
down.
You
Come down.
know,
When you get down here, just let me know when you get down here, man.
yeah,
I do come to Charlotte, but it's been a while. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll definitely try to make a trip over there and get on the visual bell, man, and just get
Most,
some of
de-
that experience, man.
most definitely. Man, you got my number, man. Call me anytime, man.
No problem, bro. No problem.
All right, boss. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All
Have a good
right,
night.
you be cool, man.
All right, boss.
All right, take care.